nice to have a say in what's happening in the city.
I'm hoping we can make a positive change for Birmingham.
It's nice to be a part of something like this and feel like we're being listened to.
We can make a little bit of a contribution to the solution. It's important we get that right.
I talk to other museum directors about what we're doing, and I can see a look in their eye. Really? I wouldn't do that in a million years. You're Birmingham residents, this is your museum, your collection.
You decide on the displays.
I would say the short answer is we do decide.
The sessions just followed a nice structure where it just starts from the people, ground up, builds up to what we want from the museums.
The regular people are going to be the people that come here, so it's really important that they have a space to voice things that they don't like, and probably more importantly things that they do like and want to see more of, so that we can tailor the experience and then just get more people through the doors.
We think that the museums deserve to be busier and better, and this is one of our first attempts at doing that. So we sent out invitations to 5,000 people, and through a process called sortition, we ended up selecting 25 people who represent different demographics of the city to really genuinely find out what people think about museums.
The core part of a citizens' jury is that we aim to be representative in the sample of people who come into the room. And a jury is also an extended process, so it lasts over weeks, months even, not just one day, one afternoon.
We've done a lot of thinking about what might come out of the citizens' jury, but we just don't know. There's kind of everything to play for here. People could tell us they want something completely different. They can tell us where our focus should be. They could tell us what they don't like. And so I just don't know what to expect, which is exciting and slightly terrifying.
Well, it's not like a criminal jury. It is a coming together of people from across the city, from all different backgrounds, ages, walks of life, who are asked to answer very difficult questions about the future of the museums and art galleries in Birmingham.
It hasn't quite sunk in yet that it's a very, very prestigious thing that we're doing, which I'm very proud to be a part of.
I feel I have a sense of responsibility. I have an opportunity to give my view, my opinion.
I thought it would just be easy, just be a bunch of questions. How do we get people through the door? Do we charge them to come through the door? What age group are we looking at? But it's actually a lot more complex right across the board. So you're looking at finances, you're looking at diversity, you're looking at backgrounds, you're looking at the history. It is a much bigger, complex picture than I thought it would be.
We were also talking about user experience at one point, like you're just thinking about someone going in from how they get to the museum, how they hear about the museum, to their experience in the museum, and the end result as well.
What I've learned over these past few sessions is how when you get a cross-section of people and you give them a problem to solve, you get so many really interesting different perspectives and common sense as well.
It's been really interesting. We've had lots of talks, lots of information coming at us, and there've been healthy debates.
You can tell that they really listen to what you're saying, because you will go home from one session and then you will arrive at the next session and you kind of look at the recommendations and the notes that have been written up and you think, oh yeah, I said that, like they were literally my words.
It's very important, I think, to be listened to in terms of the changes, because it's part of the city I live in. So I do think it's important to have a say in what happens in Birmingham museums and maybe hopefully other venues in Birmingham as well.
It's having your voice, and it's having your voice heard. And your voice is important.
The thing that's special about it is the citizens have agency. So when you're doing a citizens' assembly, what you want is the commissioning organisation to have signed up in advance to, at very least, responding to or acting on the recommendations made by the citizens.
My biggest fear, as with any citizens' jury, is the recommendations are not respected. They're not taken seriously. People are used as props. I expect a serious account from Sarah and Zach
in terms of which recommendations they can carry with them forward. And I think that is really part of the essence of what it means to democratize museums, right? For decision makers to be accountable to the people they want to come to the museum.
Sometimes we're too safe in the museum business. We're taught and trained to conserve objects for future generations. So we're cautious as a profession. But actually, if you don't take the risks, then things will happen to the organisation, to the people that you're supposed to serve.
There's just optimism and opportunity at a time that's really difficult for us. I mean, we're doing this against a very challenging context, a very challenging backdrop. But that's people who have come together, giving up their time on a Saturday, willing to make change, working with us to make that change, and it just feels full of potential and possibility.
I'm someone who hasn't really been to the museums much, kind of not really been on my radar, but it's been interesting to get to learn a lot more about them and kind of have that open up in my mind a little bit.
Like growing up as a child, it was never anything that my family would do, bring us into town, go into museums and things like that. It just wasn't something we were interested in. It's made me feel that actually it's acceptable to go into a museum when you don't know nothing about what's in there and just have an interest in it or take an interest.
Feels great. I've told my daughters about it and they don't understand, and I turned and said, well, we're shaping the future of Birmingham Museums.
I hope that it can build a bridge between the museum and communities. I'm proud, it's a lot of responsibility, but I'm happy that I've been part of this process.
I feel more involved, more involved. I feel as if I'm part of Birmingham now. And it's taken me all this time to feel part of Birmingham. So for that, thanks.